Thank you, Mansi. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Yes, thank you
And
for having me.
and before we continue it, I would love to know more about you for the audience.
Okay, so I am Mansi and I'm 27 years old. And I have been doing this book work, like book reviewing and book promotion
Mm,
kind of thing for past 4 or 5 years now.
that's
And
great.
lately I have joined as a public speaker and teacher in a Planet Spark.
Mm,
And I just do virtual teaching, one-on-one sessions. But my niche is only YouTube and Instagram and talking about books endlessly, although it's not
mm,
very good monetary wise. So I have to do
mm.
this job apart from that as
Yes,
teacher.
I get
But
it.
yeah,
Mm.
I stay in Bareilly, Uttar Pradesh. I have always stayed here. I never moved out. Like college here,
Mm.
job here, everything here. And I'm like that reserved person. I like to stay at my town, my home. So yeah, that's it about me.
Would you like to know about me?
Yes, obviously. Yes. Go ahead.
Well, my name is Roshan, and I'm from Bihar. I also
Okay.
started my YouTube channel as a talking about books and movies, but then again, I wasn't getting much views. So I thought,
Yeah.
like my first thought was that I wanted to get comfortable here, like talking to a
Yes.
camera.
Hmm.
So I did it for some 6 or 7 months, and then I had this idea talking to a lady that I should also start recording my conversation and upload them.
Yes.
And
Yes.
and I invite my friends who can speak a few lines in English, and I call it Sasta Podcast. And now I've been doing it with strangers like you.
Okay. So
So
now we are doing Sasta podcast.
I no, not with you. It is quite Mehanga
Okay.
podcast today.
Okay, okay, okay. So, like, I've been told many times that if I change
Hmm,
my niche to makeup or dress or fashion like that, then I will be popular instantly. But
hmm.
I can't do that. I am into reading and books. I can't do that. So, yes,
But you are doing great.
popularity
You are
is the
doing great.
thing. Huh?
I watched your videos; they were really nice. And like I have been working on my home. Like
Hmm.
construction work is going, so I'm getting a bookshelf, and I will also start doing things like that, book reviews and all, which I was
But
doing
you are
earlier.
seeing the views and
Hmm, hmm,
subscribers,
hmm.
no? So,
But
if
I will continue this. I will continue talking to people like you.
yeah, yeah,
I'm.
that's a
Hmm.
great thing. क्यों हमें कौन पूछेगा like you people will
Yes,
ask
yes.
us na. Yes.
No, 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 no. You are doing great. Like
Yeah.
when I watched your Hindi literature video, I thought that I need to approach you. And I have
Hmm.
been writing to so many booktubers, but this is the only second response I have got. So I was really happy when you wrote back to me, and I said, I
Obviously.
have to do it quickly.
Yes.
So the obvious question: how and why did you start reading?
How is the answer that my maternal uncle pushed me into reading? So I have lived at my maternal house from a very small age. So my
Hmm.
uncle was like padho 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 constantly, and
Hmm.
in a small age we are like कि नहीं पढ़ना, right?
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
then I gave in just to impress him, and
Hmm.
gradually I developed कि I am going back to books on myself. उनको कहने की जरूरत नहीं थी. I just went and I
Yes.
started reading, and I started with R.K. Narayan and Ruskin Bond. So Ruskin
Hmm.
Bond is very easy to read.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
at 14 years, I think I started reading, and
Hmm.
there was no turning back. Literally, no. It became my habit. It is a
Yes.
habit now. Yes.
So was your uncle pushing you to read your syllabus or like the books, the kind of books you are reading right now?
Novels, novels. He owns a
Novels.
home library, and
Oh, you are very
yes, so
lucky.
he is always like कि marks से कुछ नहीं होता. He is
Hmm.
not after academics. He is like learn
Hmm.
from books, learn from novels.
Hmm.
But one slight thing is he was pushing me to read Hindi literature. But at
Oh.
that time I was in English medium school and I had this
Hmm.
craze of talking in
Yes.
English like a foreigner. So I just
Hmm.
went into English. But now
Hmm.
at this age I'm exploring Hindi and I'm regretting why I haven't started this sooner. Hindi
You
literature.
know, in my case, like my cousins used to read Champak and Balhans, those
Yes, Nandan,
like
Champak, Balhans,
Nandan, yes,
Pinky, Chacha
like
Chaudhary.
Chacha Chaudhary. So they
Yes,
used to
yes.
read a lot. So that's how
Yeah.
I started. But because of social media, internet, I
Hmm.
completely forgot that there is a thing called reading. But
Hmm.
thanks to internet, again, I was introduced to comics, manga, and my interest to reading returned. And when I
Yes.
was in class 11, my teacher gave me The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. I hope I'm saying the
I
name
love
correctly.
that book. I love that
So,
book. It's a little
so
bit slow,
that's
but
hmm.
I love it.
But it was not slow for me. I read it in a week, and I had in a long, long time I had not read a plain text. So
Hmm.
like within a week, I read it, and I was like, dude, I need to continue doing it.
You know that Om Shanti Om dialogue, Puri Shiddat se,
Yes,
that
yes,
is
and
from
I
Alchemist.
was thinking, yes, and I asked my teacher, sir, do you notice that this dialogue is copied from it? Where it's like, Roshan, Bollywood is like that. They don't give credit and they take
Just
everything.
copied boldly.
Hmm.
Yes, yes.
Should I call you Mansi or ma'am? You are so senior
Mansi,
to me.
obviously Mansi, Mansi. No,
So,
ma'am.
like now that you are reading Hindi literature, how do you feel about it? Like about our Indian authors?
I love it, Roshan. Like when I read English, obviously I loved
Hmm.
that. I am a huge fan of
Hmm.
Khalid Hosseini. I saw one of your reels that you are
Yes.
also, yes. So I got into that grief part of reading from Hosseini's
Hmm.
book. So then I explored Bachman, Frederick Bachman. He writes very
Hmm.
mundanely, like routine life, and then the
Hmm.
pain of it or the losses of it. I love that. I love that. But when I got into Hindi, it's like you can connect with that because we are Indians.
Yes.
We
Hmm.
are villagers, like we have been, we are
Yes.
90s kids, so we
Hmm.
know about village and dada dadi and wo choti choti cheezein, everything. So the
Hmm.
relevance is more with Hindi literature, no matter
Hmm.
how good the English is. Wo
Hmm.
American culture, everything we can't relate with. But as soon as you got into Hindi, it's like array same, like from apne bachpan ka.
Hmm.
So yeah, Hindi does that for me. And they're not trying to say something in Hindi. I recently read दीवार में एक खिड़की रहती है by विनोद कुमार शुक्ल, and उन्होंने, like, he wasn't trying to say a story. He was just
Hmm.
writing about a routine life. Husband, wife,
Oh.
a mother-in-law,
Hmm.
father-in-law, a little
Hmm.
brother, एक हाथी भी था उसमें, and he was just
Yes.
writing कि मैं उठा मैं यहाँ गया. But you can't put that book down.
Hmm.
I can guarantee you can't put that book down. And by the end, there was so much you learned, but the plot of a
Hmm.
story was nothing. He was just writing about mundane life. So
Hmm.
Hindi literature does that for me.
I'm also into slice of life thing, like everyday mundane thing,
Yes,
and
yes.
I really enjoy that. And I find it quite difficult to switch from English to Hindi now. Like in the beginning, I used to read Hindi a lot, but now that my attention span is not that good, and I feel like if currently I'm working in a school, and like I've recently started, so I feel like I have to stay connected to this language because I'm not that
Ah,
smart, right?
got it.
So I have to stay connected to it. That's why I'm not switching. Like, but I want to continue reading Hindi because this
Hmm.
year I read Godan by Munshi
Yes,
Premchand, the only book
Premchand.
I have read, and I enjoyed it. Like I wasn't able to put it down, and I kept reading it, even though I wasn't comprehending it as clearly as I do with English because there are so many references. You can take help of
Huh.
the internet, but with Hindi, you can't do it right away. Like you have to, it's not that easy. So I also want to, add one book every once in a month or every twice a month.
Yes, I am doing that. Every month I am reading one Hindi book. Last month I read Piyush Mishra's book, Tumhari
Hmm.
Aukaat Kya Hai? And that was also very good. Although
Hmm.
after reading that book, I am a little bit detached from Piyush Mishra. Earlier I used to
Why?
love him a lot, but you know a lot about him after reading that book. And then as
All
a,
right,
like,
all right.
adult person, I judged him very much. So now I am detached. So yeah, but Hindi literature good. And I know you are smart. Don't say you are not smart. It's just your fluency is not good in that language. So you don't want to
Hmm.
stay connected, right? I am
Hmm.
doing
Hmm.
same with Hindi because,
Hmm.
like, my surrounding, my people, they are speaking Hindi and they are all like, "कि
Yes,
कितना
yes.
अंग्रेजी पढ़ोगी थोड़ा हिंदी पे आओ." So
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
am
Hmm.
doing
Hmm.
that for Hindi language, which you are doing for English language. That's why I am
Hmm.
reading Hindi.
And I will switch. Hopefully, like from next year, I will add like consciously one book every
Yes.
month. Mansi, I wanted to talk about Monto. Have you heard of him, or have you read anything
Yes,
from him?
yes. I know. I haven't read him. I just watched
Hmm.
that adaptation by Nawazuddin Siddiqui movie,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
I know about him through articles and stuff, but I haven't read his work particularly.
Hmm. Like I was really fascinated by this guy because I read a translation, English translation, and I wanted to read original text, Urdu. Like I
Hmm.
think he used to write in Urdu, and I can read
Oh.
Urdu, so
Hmm.
I want to read that. I thought that you might have read something from him.
No, I
No.
haven't read him. I just watched him and heard about him from my mama again. He
Hmm.
tells me all the things about all the great authors. Also, Roshan, there's a club kind of thing on Instagram, Purple Pencil
Hmm.
Project. And they,
Hmm.
what they are doing is they are making you read books which are not from famous Hindi authors like Premchand and
Hmm.
all. We know all, everyone knows them. So they are
Yes, we know.
finding out like different
Good
authors,
stuff.
different Indian authors, and those who are still alive and still writing, not those
Oh.
who became like. So you can look through
Legend.
that, huh? You can
Yes,
join
yes,
that
I'll check
also.
them out.
Yes.
I'll check them out. So, I have a few more questions regarding reading, but I'd love to know what are your other media preferences apart from reading?
Other movies.
Movies.
Only, yeah, yeah,
Yes.
movies. But I got too much into Hollywood, so now my
Hmm.
expectations are here. But I'm
Yes.
not like relating with practical life. कि मैं India की
Hmm.
हूँ, I live with my parents, and our
Hmm.
rules and regulations are different. I'm just like, they are living like this. Why I'm like living
Hmm.
like this? So I am detaching a
Hmm.
little
Hmm.
bit कि नहीं भाई बहुत सिर पे मत चढ़ने दो. थोड़ा stay
Hmm.
away from Hollywood. Bollywood
Yes.
very very less, like selected
Hmm.
works of Bollywood.
Hmm.
Otherwise, I'm so much into Hollywood.
Do you have any favorite movie from Bollywood or
M-
Hollywood?
many La La Land. I loved it. I can
Yes,
watch
I
it
loved it
again and
too.
again.
Yes,
Yes.
it's so
And
fun to watch.
Bollywood is Kapoor and Sons. I
Kapoor
watched
and
it.
Sons.
Yes,
I haven't
I
I haven't
watched it
watched it.
thrice. Yes, I love
Hmm.
that.
Have you watched Masan from Bollywood?
Ah,
Masan.
loved it. Loved it. Yes, loved it. That गाना तू किसी रेल से गुजरती है.
Realcy. Hmm.
Yes,
I
yes.
love it too. My channel's niche is language learning, English learning actually.
Hmm.
So I like to relate reading and language learning. So do you have something to talk about reading and language learning on that?
Yes, yes. So, like, my friends are also from English medium school, from the same
Hmm.
school I passed out, but they are not
Hmm.
very fluent in English. And they pointed out to me that, Kimansi, your English is very fluent. How you work
Hmm.
that much? We are still speaking, but not that. So, it happens because of reading and again,
Yes.
movies. I watch
Hmm.
movies with subtitles. No matter how
Same here.
much I understand English, I always
Hmm.
switch on the subtitles. So,
Hmm.
like this way of talking or the voice modulation kind of thing, when characters are talking that way, you catch it, right?
Yes, we do. Hmm.
Yeah. So, like reading helps a lot in vocab, in your fluency of reading,
Hmm.
and in words, like where to put
Yes,
which word.
I
Yes.
think both of your active and passive vocabulary, it is like
Yes.
on a different level. And how's your work? Are you enjoying it? I think you are working as a teacher, right?
Yes, yes. Public speaking also I teach, and there
Hmm.
are kids, small kids, like first to eighth grade, and I love
Hmm.
them because they are so curious about so many things. And in first two,
Hmm.
three classes, they are very hesitant, very shy. But
Hmm.
gradually they develop this confidence where I have to like quiet, 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 and they don't because they become
Hmm.
so familiar with me. Then they go with all that. But I love it. I love teaching them. It's one on one.
That's good to know. That's good to know. And I know I have been asking random questions, but this one is also related to reading. For example, how do you see yourself while you are reading publicly? Like, do you ever get the idea that people's eyes are on you and they think that you are trying to show off or trying to show that I'm a smart person? Do you feel that?
Yeah. I think Roshan, it depends on the area you are reading, like the gentry.
Hmm.
Because if I
Yes.
read in a Mumbai area like Choraha or anything, people will just go
Hmm.
and or they will just don't even look at you. They will just
They will
go
be
on
not
with their
bothered.
lives.
Hmm.
Yes, but if you read in a small town or you're like, अरे बड़ा दिखा रही है, she is showing off like that.
Hmm.
किसको
Hmm.
बता
Hmm.
रही है that she is smart? क्या पढ़ती है? So
Hmm.
it depends on area, I guess, but I
Hmm.
don't care. If I want to read, I will, but I have motion sickness, so I can't
Hmm.
read in car, I can't read in bus. I can only read on a bench in a park. That I do.
Hmm.
That I do a
So do
lot.
so when you had start, I think at the age of 14 you had started.
Reading,
So
yes.
like how was your first experience of reading a book? Do you remember it? Like not related to your syllabus?
I read Delhi is Not Far by Ruskin Bond, and there
Hmm.
was a collection of stories. So
Hmm.
I was so unaware of this narration thing that where
Hmm.
you narrate as yourself. I
Hmm.
went to my mama and like Ruskin Bond के साथ ये हुआ था, उन्होंने गड्ढा
Hmm.
खोदा तो वो उसमें गिर गए थे, and he was listening because Ruskin Bond के साथ नहीं हुआ था, he was the narrator of that, he is just a fictional
Yes.
story. So that was my
Hmm.
first experience, and till now I can't detach those stories from Ruskin Bond. I attach it with
Hmm.
him क्योंकि मैंने पहली
Hmm.
बार ऐसे पढ़ लिया था. So I attach
Yes.
it with him completely. R.K. Narayan, Malgudi Days, I love that.
I don't remember the name R.K. Narayan, but I had to read a book of him when I was in my second year of graduation. I had to read. I'm forgetting the title of it,
Bachelor,
but
Room on the Roof, kind of. Malgudi Days is very famous by him, R.K.
not
Narayan.
Malgudi Days. There was
Hmm.
something else. Uh,
Okay, okay.
I'll put it here.
Huh.
So, Mansi, do you have any favorite book that you always recommend it to people, or you want people to read it?
I have these many favorite books, but one book I keep talking about and pushing people to read is Tuesdays with Maury by Mitch Albom. It's a
Why?
non-fiction book, but
Hmm.
it talks about life and death. Death
Hmm.
specifically, like how
Yes.
just knowing that you are going to die affects your
Hmm.
whole remaining life, and how
Hmm.
someone, like if I say to you that I'm going to die and I have these lessons to tell you from my
Hmm.
life, how
Hmm.
you get that, how you change your
Yes.
life after that. So that's a brilliant book, and most important, it's a non-fiction, it's not a fiction, so you will
Hmm.
just like connect instantly with it. I love that book.
Yeah, I'd love to add it. And one more thing, there is debate in fiction, non-fiction that this should be read, or people prefer one genre over it. Do you have anything related? Do you also feel that way? That fiction is better or non-fiction is better?
Not like better or not better. I think it depends, first of all,
Hmm.
on your mood, on when
Hmm.
you are reading the book. Like sometimes we get so many breaks in a book, so the
Hmm. Hmm.
interest in that book or the thing you are getting from that book, it just fades away. For end में you
Yes.
are just finishing it, you
Hmm.
don't
Hmm.
get into that much, so it depends. My mama says that non-fiction is very good because it gives you knowledge, information, everything, but he also accepts that at our age we are inclined towards fiction, so it's
Fiction. Hmm. Hmm.
natural. It's natural. I love memoirs in non-fiction where a person is telling about his life, so I connect with more than
Hmm.
finance and everything. I don't like self-help. I hate self-help books. I
Hmm.
don't like them. So no, non-fiction doesn't work for me that much. Travelogues, I guess, those are good.
Great. Great. And last question, then we will wrap it up because the attention span of my viewers, they won't gonna watch the whole video.
Okay, okay, yes.
So, my channel's niche is language learning. So, do you
Hmm.
have any recommendations, suggestion, or habits that viewers can add in their learning routine to improve
Okay,
their English?
first of
Hmm.
all, read daily,
Hmm.
because not a whole book, not like 10 pages, just 2 pages. Those are enough. Just two
Hmm.
pages if you are reading before bed, or if
Yes.
possible, if no one is around you, read aloud. Because
Yes.
then, if you are pronouncing something wrong, you will look it up and you will correct it right there, right now. Second is, which might seem for insane people, but talk in front of mirror. I say that. If
Yes.
you have this low confidence कि मैं कैसे English बोलूँगा, how will I conversation I will with other,
Hmm.
just talk in front of mirror, and simple questions like how was your day, what are you wearing, how's the weather, just simple questions, and answer
Hmm.
yourself. Like ask yourself and answer yourself, and it will
Hmm.
improve your fluency, or the way someone can throw questions at you and you can answer instantly. That will improve a lot. So reading in this, I say, and Hollywood with subtitles.
That's
Subtitles,
great.
movies with subtitles
Movies.
always.
Hmm.
Yes,
Hmm.
always.
Thank you so much, Mansi. Thank you so much for your time and your suggestions.
Thank you,
And
Roshan. You want to talk about anything? You can talk to me. We can edit it out. No problem.
definitely, definitely. Do you want to
Yes.
ask anything? Go on if you
Yeah.
have.